Hey everyone, welcome to my Substack, and I'm broadcasting live today. So this is a live video of just reflecting on what I posted this afternoon, entitled Slow Reading Piano Music and Texts That Inspire. I think it's really important in this day and age to dive in to the arts, to explore the piano as a lens by which we can look at the world in meaningful ways. And I can't wait to do this slow reading project with you all. So go ahead and subscribe to my Substack, and I can't wait to sort of dive in to all of this wonderful piano literature that's out there that has unique perspectives on what it means to be a human being. And these perspectives are rich, they're deep, they're thoughtful, they're meaningful, and they can provide purpose. They can provide a sense of purpose and of meaning in life, in this life that is somewhat chaotic right now in the world. So I want to kind of take a look at what I kind of outlined in terms of what to expect in this idea of slow reading piano music and texts. As you know, in Substack, there are many wonderful channels that do slow reads of these masterworks of literature. I'm thinking of a gentleman who does slow reads of War and Peace and provides reading guides for this massive work, but does it in such a way that brings these ideas down to earth, so to speak, and helps us to read these amazing texts well and to understand the main themes of War and Peace. And so that's what I sort of intend to do here, although there's a twist. There's a twist in that I'm a pianist, and I want to discover these amazing works of literature and other works in the humanities that are able to speak to the piano, but more than that, that the piano can speak to these works and provide, like I said, a lens or an interpretive lens by which we can look at them in deep and profound ways. And so I want to do this in an interdisciplinary way, and I want to hear from you. As we get ready for the new year, at the new year, I intend to do a slow read of Dante, of the Divine Comedy, and see how Liszt's music in particular and some other composers dive in to the Divine Comedy thematically and really lift from this masterwork some themes that are with us today that I think we need to revisit in this world. And to quote Dostoevsky, and I know that it was said by someone who didn't really understand what they were saying in The Idiot by Dostoevsky, that beauty will save the world. I realize that. But I also believe that to be the case, that beauty will indeed save the world. And so as we sort of tackle these problems from the right brain, so to speak, in creative ways, we can bring healing to the world, or tikkun olam, or we can bring a sense of wholeness and a sense of shalom to the world in which we live. Beauty can do that, I believe with all my heart. And so as we explore these masterworks of literature, painting, whatnot, we'll start with literature and doing slow reads of literature, let's say, and then look at pieces that speak into that literature. And who knows, you might, for example, I was thinking about this after I posted this afternoon. You might want to write a piece of music that is based on these wonderful texts. I'm thinking of the Petrarca sonettos by Liszt, that the three of them that he set Petrarch's sonnets to, and wouldn't it be lovely to have people write sonnets, both in the Petrarchan form and maybe even the Shakespearean form of the sonnet. I've tried to write sonnets and even posted one here or more. I can't remember on this Substack, and it's just a wonderful way to express the deep down things, the deep hidden things that are in our lives, that the arts really uncover for us what it means to be human. And so with these humanities in view, and the conversation that happens between these art forms, I would like to contribute to that conversation with the piano and with what piano music has to say. So there's going to be basically two paths that we're going to be exploring. One is, of course, the literature, and we're going to be reading and doing slow reads and maybe providing some reading guides for that. But we're also going to be diving in to piano music. So let's just take Dante's, the Dante Sonata by Franz Liszt. It's a sonata that he wrote after a reading of Dante. Now, in this piece, there's just so many layers, musical layers, that he explores, and the layers of the poetry, the layers of the text that he was inspired by. And so we're going to look at how to play the Dante Sonata and what is in this beautiful piece of music. I'm also going to be calling out to composers to consider writing music based on Dante, music that is directly linked to themes that are brought out in Dante. Wouldn't that be amazing to have several pieces composed, newly composed music, to be featured here on my Substack, where I'm showing how to practice these new works and how to express these new works and perform these new works. There will also be pieces that are presented that are at various levels, okay? So you don't have to be an advanced concert pianist to enjoy these slow reads and slow play-alongs, so to speak, on this channel. So I'll have music that is reflective of what we're reading, that is various piano levels. So intermediate, advanced, and then really, really hard, that kind of thing. So yeah, I look forward to this project. In the immediate, what I hope to do is go through the story of Orpheus. You've probably heard that name mentioned many, many times around, and there are companies named after Orpheus, and there's the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, right, in New York, and so Orpheus is is a name that we hear, but do we know the story of Orpheus and Eurydice? So what we have here in this beautiful story are so many themes that need to be recaptured in our lives today. that of sacrifice, of love, yes, of love, of deep commitment to each other in friendship and in love. Sacrifice, of course, and then just the beauty of music to tame the savage beast and to tame the powers of Hades, so that we need this kind of message of hope for our world today. Of course, Orpheus is a wild tale. It's not mentioned in the Iliad or the Odyssey, but it is a substantial part of Greek mythology, this story. And the story of Orpheus has been of inspiration to composers and artists for generations. We're going to be looking at original source material that composers might have read as they sort of explore this beautiful story in tones. So I look forward to that. It's a wild story. Like I said, it's a wild story, and it shows the power of music. We're going to be looking at the poems of Ovid and Virgil in particular, and then maybe some source material from Plato. We'll see. Plato, of course, is much earlier than those other poets. And then, and we're going to challenge a couple of ideas. This is going to be fun, actually. There's a story out there that one of the pieces that I'm going to be playing is programmed after the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. So what I mean by programmed is that it's programmatic. It kind of evokes, it tells the story with sounds, okay? In piano music, there are no words. It's just notes played one after another. And so how is it that a piano piece could evoke the emotion and tell the story of Orpheus and Eurydice? So stay tuned, because I'm going to challenge an idea that a particular piece is based on the Orpheus myth. Spoiler alert, I do think that this gentleman who proposes this idea is right, okay? But I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it for all it's worth in terms of doing the research and going into the journals and going into the original source material to find out for you and myself about whether or not this is true. What is this meant to do? Well, this project is meant to help us all to learn about what it means to be human. And this is of great burden for me as an artist and as a pianist, because I want to leave this music and this art form in a better place than when I found it. And I really think that the piano and its music can speak deeply into life, into everyday life, and into those transcendent moments that we all experience on a day-to-day basis in our ordinary lives. I'm an ordinary dude trying to get by here in this world, and I just happen to love the piano, and I love to share about its music, and I really think that it is able to speak to our culture and to our world in powerful ways, we just need to come together, I guess, over these amazing topics and discover it. So whoever comes to my page, I hope that you are encouraged and built up and enlivened, that your imagination is enlivened as we consider these beautiful things. I want to leave this video with just a thought that your imagination, to quote a friend of mine, Malcolm Guite, your imagination is a truth-bearing faculty. And as we renew our imaginations in these transcendent themes that are passed on from generation to generation, we can be assured that we can experience this life, a life full of love, a life full of peace, a life full of fortitude in the midst of great turmoil and trial, and all of these folks, these men and women that have gone before us and have written this wonderful body of literature, whether it's piano music or literature, we can be assured that as we go into that world and those worlds that they have created for us, we can emerge with a better perspective on the world and the world that we inhabit. Okay, friends, well, thanks so much for tuning in, getting my reps in, so to speak, here on Substack and broadcasting here for the first time. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.